Good morning, Renny Doyle Podcast. Another day, another dollar. We've got a special guest on today, but before we jump into introducing our guest, Chris, what's up?
Not much. It's like you said, it's another day. Busy Wednesday morning, getting this thing going. So
Yes, my phone. Is your phone blowing up already this morning?
a little bit. I was getting messages around 6:15 this morning. People asking about our training. So my days sometimes start early and end late.
Yeah, I hear you. I was the same way. I was up making notes for this last night, and then this morning early, it just social media pop, but a lot of stuff going on. Hey, nice ceiling fan. So it's we both need a couple new shirts, dude, because we're getting bored on the shirts. I actually had a new one today, but I've got to go out and I got to go out and prep some cars and start getting ready for this weekend. So, with that being said, last week we had a busy week. Diane was down with our new granddaughter in Virginia or over in Virginia. She won't be back until tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
Hey, Renny, what part of Virginia is she in? I meant to ask you. I meant to call you and ask you.
They are in Portsmouth, Virginia. And Delaney's actually
That's my home stomping grounds. So.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I'm sure you've seen the signs, but I'm from a city called Newport News.
Oh yeah, it was drove by and around it, many times while I was there. So that's cool. I had no idea. I thought you were a Florida native. See?
No, I'm born and raised in Virginia. So.
Already learning more about you already. So we had a busy week, and I'll tell you, I called Diane on Friday night when we were done with training, and I told her I have a great appreciation for the millions of little things she does for training because, we had to carry the whole thing through, and it went out great. But you know what I learned? I learned that I really miss teaching interiors. I had a blast with interior. It was a lot of fun. There's the class from last week, and we had a great week, great class. And it was just a good time. So this weekend, Chris, we got something. Are you coming back up here Saturday?
You bet.
Okay, so you want
to plan?
Tell everybody what's going on for Saturday?
Yeah, we got our extreme one-day training taking place at 7 locations nationwide. We've got Auburn, Indiana, Long Branch, New Jersey, Melbourne, Florida. Beaufort, Georgia, which is right outside Atlanta, and then San Antonio, Texas, Scottsdale, Arizona, and then of course Big Bear, California. And we should be training upwards of around 60 guys this weekend.
That's cool. And I think is that I was going to talk about this. We're wrapping up year 60 for PNS, and we had this vision. It took us a couple, 2-3 years to really get it off the ground, and we're still building on it. But to represent, because that training and our 5-day training, we have a lot of product lines in. I mean, we've got so many great product partners that we partner with in the 5-day. But in this 1 day, it's all Team PNS and Double Black. And I really think that we're the only right now. There's a lot of people launching, trying to go this direction, but we are the first to do this level of training nationwide all in 1 day. And I'm really proud of that because it takes a lot of work. It's taken a lot of work on your part, Chris. And I know, Mark, you've been involved with Justin down at the training center. You going down this weekend?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, we've got an event that we got to do with Porsche down in South Florida, one of their Drive Excellent events. So we'll be South Florida. Actually, I'll leave tomorrow morning, and the transporters arrive, unload all the cars tomorrow, and we'll be down there until Sunday morning. But I do plan on swinging by and seeing Justin on the way back up. So
right on. Well, you've been involved with our training centers down there a lot, and
oh yeah, it's a real good time. Good time, just training people and teaching them about the industry.
Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool event, and now that it's it's really gone truly nationwide, all 4 corners. In the middle, all over the place on the west, so it's pretty exciting. So, hey, so Mark, introduce yourself, man. Tell everybody who you are and what you're about and all that good stuff.
Mark Elliot, Jacksonville, Florida is where I'm at. Been here for the last 17 years. Anyway, the name of my company is Firehouse Auto Spa. Some people might know us, some people don't. We're kind of low key, we like to show our work a lot, but sometimes we just get focused on the business and we don't really post a lot on social media. But when we do, we get a lot of interactions, we get a lot of inboxes and stuff like that. So we try to stay on top of it. But Firehouse Auto Spa, we specialize in detailing, ceramic coatings, PPF, window tint, dent removal, rim repair. Basically, we're like a one-stop shop where you just bring your car in, get everything done, write one ticket, have to deal with one person and keep moving. So,
you might not realize this. There's a picture of you over the corner of our shop. I brag about you quite a bit. Just about not just you as an individual, because you're a great guy, a great human. But the way that you've gone about what you do for your day gig, is pretty cool. We'll go into that here in a second. Yep. But how you've transitioned from having a full-time career into building this empire that you've built. I mean, because you really have done that. So why detailing? What took you down the path of detailing?
It's something I did young, very young. I always enjoyed working on cars. I used to do it for family members. But then when I got into the firefighting thing, I realized that detailing was more therapeutic for me. And I started enjoying it more and more and more. So I continue to do it. I continue to do my firefighting career, and I continue to come here and what I like to call do some therapy. So
that's cool. And so, hey, I'll ask this to you and Chris both. I don't think we've ever asked this. Going back, because you did start as a kid, so many of us did, right? Yeah. Was there a car in your childhood that kind of started the passion for vehicles for you? Was there one car that stands out that you had contact with that kind of got that bug started?
It was. It is funny thing is that car came through our shop about 2 weeks ago, and I had an opportunity to actually buy it, and I passed on it. Actually, I won't say I passed on it, but I kind of waited a little bit because we just opened up a new location, and I'm looking at things, and I'm like, well, if I buy that car, I could put more money into doing more stuff at our new location. So I was kind of hesitating, and the guy was like, well, look, I'm just telling you now, I sold the car, but if you ever want me to find you one, I will. But it's an old Mustang, like a fat hatchback. They call it the Fox body. And
yep.
There was somebody, there was a guy in our neighborhood. I remember he was a paraplegic, and this guy had a black Mustang like that, and it was black Mustang. It's the hatchback version, but anyway. And I always loved it. It was a 5.0, and it always sounded good. And I always said, man, this guy, is paralyzed, and he has this very nice car. So I always, he let me wash it a few times for him. But he was real. He loved washing it too. But that was a car I love, honestly. So,
well, we have that in common because Mustangs was it for me too. But mine went back a little further to the 60s. But my dad used to, when we were driving around, he'd be like, oh, there's a 66, there's a 68. He would teach me the differences between the two. Mm-hmm. So that started it for me.
You want to hear something funny? I am too. My first one was a Mustang. So my when my dad took off and left my mom, the parting gift was a 66, which is the same year I was born, 66 coupe, aqua blue, with an aqua blue interior. And I remember sitting in that car, and it didn't, by the time that I really came of age, but it ran. But then my oldest brother, took it as kind of his first car, and he really hunked it up. But I remember sitting in that car and just being able to push the buttons and a couple times starting it up. And it was such a cool car, right? I mean, so wow, that's ironic that all three of us, not planned, not even on the notes.
No, definitely not. But yeah.
So here's another funny factor: is you look at Bob Phillips, right? And Mark, you recall what our nickname is for him?
I don't.
Ice. And when you said 5.0, I had this vision of Bob Phillips with vanilla. Bob's going to kill me if he's listening, but and it's funny, Bob. Here's your team, because Mark, you've been real involved with Team PNS for a long time, since the beginning of Double Black, and that kind of leads us to the next question: is SEMA, MT, AFO. You've done. I mean, we just saw you up at McCall's. You've been so hyperactive in the industry really since the get-go. How important has all of that been to you? And going to these events and meeting other people and networking. There's a picture of you on the wing of Air Force One. How important has all this been? And what would you tell people about going to these events?
I think it just keeps you relevant in the industry, and you got so many people now where we live in a time. I mean, all of us are pretty, we got some age on us, but we live in a time where we didn't have social media and we couldn't portray, for lack of better words, we couldn't portray. It was either your work spoke for what you did, basically. You know what I mean? Like actions speak louder than words. But now we live in a time where people can put on facades, and you can see these beautiful shops, and you can see, people cranking out different cars, and you don't know if it's true or not. And I think, just walking around the industry and actually just being there, meeting people, always showing your face and just showing that you're active in the industry. I think it's just more, like I said, the actions speak louder than words,
And you get to know people,
Right.
truly. You get to truly, and I'll tell you a great story that goes right off that is that Paul, that's with Chemical Guys, we had somebody in between us that was kind of feeding both of us bad information. And, I never met Paul, but I was hearing he didn't like me, and Paul never met me, and he was hearing I didn't like him. Well, then Paul and I meet, and we actually really like each other. The guys are really intriguing guys, a smart guy.
Right.
I love his personality. I love the way he chases life. It was the dead opposite of what we had somebody feeding us. And he was very real. He's very likable. All these things that I heard he was and he is. And so it can go the opposite direction. It will, you said something amazing is that, hey, I can't always post stuff up because we're busy. I tell people I was a late bloomer. I didn't come into, even though I was involved in the early forums of the industry. Really, there had been a movement online for years before I got involved because I was too busy making money.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I wonder how these people have time to get and post up all over the place, and they're supposedly so busy. I know there's no way we could do it.
Right.
There's no way we could do it.
Right.
And at these events, it gives you time to develop your own opinion of people that are at these events, and a lot of times they're great people. A lot of
Right.
times they're great people.
And I think, a lot of times you go to these events and, you just meet people and when you see them again, you see them and you can just talk to them like there wasn't a break in the last time you saw them. You know what I mean? It's like you just finished where, the conversation just be like, hey, how's the family doing? I've known you long enough. I've seen all your children grow up. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I mean, that's this part. And then also just going to these events and learning something. And you might not learn something at the actual event, but you can learn something from somebody that you meet. And that's what I try to do is just learn something about business from anybody that I meet and just go in with an open mind and then come back motivated to make money. So,
it's funny because here you and I, we start out, teacher student. And now when I'm around you, you've started, we'll get into your empire here in a bit, but, seeing you up in Monterey, you couldn't accept our invite to go to Monterey this year because you were so busy with one of your new companies. And,
right.
And here's how it works. We got a call. Who was it? Rolls Royce or?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Rolls Royce.
Yep.
And so we passed that contract on to you because, it wasn't our thing. So,
right.
The relationships at events goes much further. Yeah, learning's probably the key because, when I'm around you and other people I really respect, here I am. How old are you?
40.
So 40. So, I'm 15 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I'm like a suction cup around you guys. You guys start talking, I don't know it all, but I get to know a lot more being around all you.
Right.
Because the different opinions and the different things and all the testing and A/B testing and the things that people do, it's so powerful.
The different experiences and the opportunities that they have in their markets and stuff.
So, going to these, roll into this, you come to training, you and I immediately got a friendship built. I remember at one time, and I tell the story, and I don't know if I've got it right these years later, but you came to me and said, hey, I think I'm going to, possibly leave my job as a firefighter. You remember having that conversation?
Yeah, I think I had, now I have 13 years, but I think I had, 13 years in Jacksonville Fire Department. I think I was like 4 years in or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I fought you. I was like, man, no, you don't. I mean, you got to stick with it, and it's. I just having somebody that will give you the other side of the story that they've learned. And it comes both from young and old. You don't have to be, it's not that I'm older than you. It's just I've got different experiences. And it's the same, man, I just don't see age as an issue. Matter of fact, we had a little burst out. I might go live today later and kind of share my opinions on something yesterday. If somebody, called me out for not calling him back or some bullshit like this. And I tell people, hey, man, you know what? Nobody owes anybody anything. You owe yourself.
Right.
But when you build strong relationships and the possibilities of learning from each other, it's not that I'm old. It's not that you're young. I think that people that my age that judge younger people for being, they're lazy. Oh, man, you are short-sighted, dude. And anybody that judges somebody for being older and not of value is just as big an idiot. Is that there's young people that are like yourself that are brilliant. There are old people that've got wisdom that are brilliant. Now, on the other side, there's absolute idiots in both of those categories too, right? You got to pick them out. So roll into Double Black. You become real involved in Double Black, but not just Double Black at the shows. You've got a great relationship with Buff and Shine. So kind of go into both of those, what you've been able, what it's done for you and what you've done for us.
I think we're rolling Buff and Shine first because Buff and Shine came first, and then we started the whole Buff and Shine, and then we rolled into PNS Double Black. Me and Justin, we kind of got involved with Buff and Shine. Justin, we met Julio at MTE event, and you know how Justin is. Justin's a great, he just gets along with anybody, and he just knows the industry well as far as just educational wise, and him and Julio just hit it off. But the main reason why we went over there is because I was trying to tell him about some pads that I had tried, and I just tried them out of a whim. I think I was using another brand pad, and for some reason they didn't have that pad in stock, so I said, you know what, let me try these. And I tried them and I liked them. So the main reason of going over to the booth to talk to Julio and them was just to tell Justin about the pads, kind of just show him about the pads and everything. Fast forward, Julio and Justin hit it off, and then now we have him as the face of Buff and Shine. But I think the best part about it is just building a reflection artist team. You guys got a picture of all of us up there now. Being able to just test the pads and be able to give something back to the industry. Buff and Shine lets us test anything before it's released, and they actually value our input on it. So if we say, hey, we need it to be a little bit thicker, or we need it to be a little bit more dense, they go with it. And then just to move into Double Black, I believe in educating people on products at work. I'm not a big salesman, and I tell all my customers that. And knock on wood, we've never really had anybody come back and say, hey, look, we want a refund because we feel like you sold us snake oil. We're big on educating people and telling people the benefits of why you should use us, why you should do A, B, or C to your vehicle. And then we let you go and make your decision. So with that being said, just the Buff and Shine product alone, the Double Black product line alone, we use it every day in our business, and we've just seen the profits from it and the results from it, and we just figured, we jump on board and actually, become distributors and help grow the brand. So,
you're an amazing story because you went from a storefront, and you're pretty much now you're full on distributor, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the success story there. Now let's wrap into let's go into the big stuff. So, when I met you, you're getting into detailing. Now you've got an empire. You got all these you've got different locations, services, mobile. You've jumped into a new segment of the industry. You went from, not having products to a storefront, from a storefront to distribution. So you're doing all these exciting things. Tell us about this empire that you've constructed one piece at a time.
Really, it just started, like you said, one piece at a time. Some people try to build businesses and they have these big dreams, which there's nothing wrong with dreaming, but I believe in building stuff one step at a time. That way, you can make sure everything is running right, and then once you kind of like a eagle raising his little eaglets. You know what I mean? Like once one's good enough and you feel like he can fly away from the coop and you train him how to fly, you let him go. And then you still got 3 more in the coop, but you got to train them too. So, that's how we built the business is, every aspect of our business, not only did I actually get educated on it, but I made sure it was right before we added something onto it. So, we started out with detail and ceramic coatings. Once I felt like we can build on that, then we added window tint. I went to window tint training. So I know how to tint cars. I went to XPEL PPF training, so I can do PPF on cars. The biggest thing I didn't want to do is add something on the business and rely on somebody and somebody be able to dangle something in my face and say, hey, look, you got to keep me here because you don't know how to do it. So I always wanted to educate myself on it and then bring it on. So if that guy decides to leave, well, we're still going to tint cars and we're still going to PPF cars with or without you. But, we just slowly added on. And the way we added on is because by demand, we had customers saying, hey, do you know a guy that can do this? Do you know a guy that can do that? And we just seen the numbers going out and realized that we could do it in-house. And all our customers really wanted us to do it anyway. They just like, our customer service, the relationships we build with them. And, they feel like they can't get that anywhere else. So,
hey, Mark, how many locations do you have now?
So we've got 2 locations here in Jacksonville, and then we've got a tent shop in Atlanta.
Wow. Okay. Then you guys are doing mobile service, correct?
Yep. So the thing with the mobile, that was the backbone of our business. So what I didn't want to do is basically build a business off mobile detailing and then let it go. I mean, we still have clients that, I just talked to one yesterday that we've been doing since day one, and he still sticks with us. So I didn't want, some people rely on that service. So we just kept that service on and built on that as well. We did find that it's more profitable for us to do more fleet work, for my guys. So we've got a lot of, we got a few fleet accounts with that, which, that's guaranteed money, guaranteed revenue for us. We can count on that every week. We do our maintenance stuff, but most people love coming in. I like to use this analogy a lot with my customers because they love it too, but you can go to Roof Chris and order a steak and you can get it to go, but the experience you get when you're there is just a total different experience. So the price will be the same, but the experience will be different. So, a lot of our customers just like to come in because of the atmosphere, because they like to see me, myself, they like to see one of my managers, and they like that experience. And, that's all what we're about is building an experience.
I always tell people that, Walt Disney had a vision, at this theme park, right? And he wasn't the first, man. There was other Coney Island, all these different locations. But the one thing that Walt Disney understood was making it exactly what you just said, an experience. And you still go to Disneyland compared to other theme parks, and I still think it outperforms all these years later. It still gives you an experience, and detailing is much the same. And I think you've really centered that, and you hit on something. I put a note down, always be an expert with your staff. Your staff, we have had mutinies through the years, and what the staff didn't, most of my staff, 90% were really good people, but every once in a while you get somebody that's not, they've got an alternative motive. And by you nailed it, while you remaining an expert, is that puts you in a really good position. It's not a control position. It's actually a growth position. And what it does, it just keeps the honest people honest. And I applaud you for doing that. So now you're doing wheel repair, correct? Yep. Tinting, PPF. You're doing corrections, coatings, but you actually ventured in and went into a partnership and started something brand new. Tell us about that.
Let's see.
Your events.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. So, and that actually goes back to going to events that you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast with going to different events, Mobile Tech, SEMA, different events in the industry and meeting people. So, I met a few guys just going to events and we all started AOD with Art of Detailing, but AOD car care. And basically what we do is we handle the logistics, basically, for lack of a better word, logistics for Porsche or whoever wants to hire us. We handle all the logistics of getting the vehicles there, getting them clean, keeping them fueled up. making sure they're ready for the next event, getting them loaded back up onto the transport trailer, and then seeing them off to the next event. So, reached out to it's about 5 of us that are involved into it in it, and it's turned out to actually be a pretty good gig for us.
That's awesome. It was great to see you guys, in action out at Monterey.
Right.
And, you guys aren't dealing with small companies. I mean, these are big name organizations within the automotive industry. And here's the thing: a lot of people have done it in the past. You're not the first, right? Just like I'm not the first transport. But here's the deal. You know what you guys have done is that you've taken, again, the experience is that, and the profitability is that you're providing a great service that people are willing to pay more for, that allows you to profitize from it. And in the past, a lot of people just gave that crap away just to get onto the forums and, brag about it. But you're a true entrepreneur. You don't have time for that shit.
Yeah,
and I dig it. And so you really turned it into it. So
let me give a shout out to them though, because you got Ryan Haddix, Shaman, Jason Burrell, Masterpiece, and I want to just reflect back on it. The reason why they could have easily done this without me. They could have just figured it out and made it happen. But the reason why we all collaborated is because we all brought something to the table. Somebody might be good at logistics. Somebody else might be good at managing people. Somebody else might be good at something else. But all of us brought an attribute to make this company grow. That way, it's not all on one person. And I think it was a great idea, honestly.
No, there's a couple. You guys have done great. There's a couple great companies out there that do this, and you're definitely one of them. So, hey, Chris, before we get into the takeaway moments, let's make it some impacts. Is that PNS? We want to thank them, and we were on a call yesterday with the team. It's hard to believe that we're wrapping up year 60, and I looked back and I reflected on last night when I was making the notes to this, of being engaged with people like Mark, and all the different people in the industry that we rub elbows with, and we are so blessed to be a part of their daily lives and their business lives and see them at events. But I want to say this. Can you imagine, Chris, if Dave and Bob's dad could come and just take a peek at this thing, of how proud he'd be of his boys? Is Mark, you're building an empire right now. Can you imagine, if your sons had taken, already good company and made it into what they've made it, and I reflected back just the sentimental side of me coming out and saying, man, their dad would be so proud,
I think it goes beyond he would be. I think he probably is. And I think he does probably take a peek every once in a while.
Yeah, I do too. I feel the same way, but I just want to say, it's legacy companies are out there, and I put a post up last night is no shyness to our partners globally, but right now America is facing, a pretty big struggle with supplies. Mm-hmm. And it comes back to, is that you've got to take and demand American, you've got to take and buy American, you've got to build American, and you got to support American, because we're seeing the results right now that are kind of spooky of what's going down. But, PNS is a proud American company. We love our international partners, but the struggle right now in our country is pretty real. And so, go out if you've got a supplier that you buy from, and they base their manufacturing here in the States. Go out and thank them. Take a couple seconds and thank them. So,
it comes down to self-reliance, right? I mean, it's important for people to be self-reliant and be able to, take matters into their own hands and take care of themselves. The same thing goes for our country.
Absolutely.
We can't be dependent on everybody else. We got to be able to depend on ourselves too.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So, hey, Mark, let's jump into this. So talk about, what were some of the decisions that you had to think about in not giving up your full-time gig? There's people, I use you as an example so many times, because there's a lot of people that are in the same boat that you were in or in now. And so talk about that of why you did it, and just kind of put some nuggets out there.
I think the biggest thing, is you just got to be willing to make some sacrifices. you got a lot of people who want everything, but they don't want to give up something to get something, but they want it. So, I had to make a lot of sacrifices, whether it be time with my family or sleep, you know what I mean? And then those are, sleep is just minor to me because I could just run I'm a robot. All my guys look at me like, man, I don't know how you do it. But, one of the decisions is by the time I realized that it would make sense for me to leave, it didn't make sense for me to leave. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm 13, almost 14 years in, and I'm on the back half of my career now. I could have jumped out early and been like, okay, this is, at 4 or 5 years, and I could have jumped out and just said, okay, I'm gonna just detail full time, which is fine. But I always wanted to make sure I had a backup plan. I do have children, and I do have responsibilities. So then I had to make a decision to myself and say, hey, if I'm going to stay doing firefighting full time and try to run a business, I'm going to have to let go of control a little bit of this business, and I'm going to have to hire the right people to make the right decisions. So that was one of the hardest parts, is letting go of that control. You know what I mean? And I'm not a big control freak, but what I mean is, when you have a business, it's like your little baby, and you're scared to let somebody wash a car because they can't do it like you, or you're scared to let them do this because they can't do it like you. But you have to let go if you want to grow.
Delegation can be a bitch.
Yeah, and it can be. But just slowly finding the right people to put in the right positions allowed me to keep both going, honestly, and letting go a little bit.
What would you share? What's some input, of doing a business, part-time, turning it into full-time, and then carrying a career? That's an interesting dialogue. And honestly, I had a part-time gig for a short time, so I don't understand the dynamics of what you face. So, what's some hints that you'd give people that are facing that? What's some lessons that you learned?
Main thing is, like I said, let go a little bit, find the right people in the right position. I mean, and I get, a lot of detailers that call me and ask me different questions. And I tell them it's like this. So imagine being, let's just say we're a football coach. The coach can't coach the game if he's in the game, if that makes sense. A coach can coach a game looking from the outside of the game. And if you really want to run a business right, you have to find the right people that are going to run that game for you. And if they're not in the right position, you have to find a position that's going to make them accomplish the goal that you're trying to accomplish. You get so many people that play a sport and then they go to a certain coach, and that coach says, well, you're not wide receiver no more, you're a tight end. And the guy's like, well, I've been a wide receiver all my life. Well, we need you as a tight end, and that's where I see your skills at. So, I would just tell people to, if you want to do a dual role business, either find somebody that you can trust and let go a little bit and put them in the right position. Those are my thoughts on that.
That's cool. So what was there anything that surprised you when you started out in business? Was there something that was like, whoa, I kind of didn't suspect that?
Let's see.
For me, it was how important the financial side is,
Yeah.
Is that I knew making money is important, but I didn't know there was the whole back end of making money,
Right. I agree with you. With you on that.
So, was there anything else that just kind of took you back by surprise and went, whoa, man, this is okay. This is the other side of this thing,
I think maybe people's work ethic, because I always knew my work ethic, but seeing other people's work ethic, I'm like, okay. I mean, so
you ties your shoes in the morning, dude.
You're right. That kind of took me back, but I think that's it. I mean, with a business, you're always gonna have challenges, and you just got to roll with the punches.
For me, it was how demanding of your time the clients could be. Like their expectations of your, being able to control your time a little bit.
Yeah.
Boy, and I'll tell you, if you don't get a handle on that and set some strong boundaries, that will get out of control on you really quick.
Yep.
Real quick. So, what's the best thing you've done for your business through the years? What's one thing? Is there one thing that stands out there? Like, what, that was a good move. Glad I did it. Was it going to an event? Was it relationship? What was it?
this isn't just because I'm on your podcast, but really going to your training, honestly. I think I remember texting you. I could probably look back at all my texts because I don't delete my texts, but I think I can remember texting you the first day I made $1,000. And I think the biggest thing, I mean, honestly, it was the best thing I did for my business. And I mean, and you can attest to this, Renny. There's people that come through your training and sometimes they go out of business. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with the training. It has to do with what do you take away from it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think
there's times people come to training and decide not to get into the business because they realize, holy shit, this is a lot more involved than what it is. So
no, but I mean seriously, the biggest thing was, going to your training, and then I came back. I think the week I went to your training, it was your book release party. So not only did I get to go to your training, but I was at your book release party and I met so many people. So that was the biggest thing I did for my business, because after that we blew up, because I said, okay, this is achievable. You know what I mean? It's almost like, I hate to use this analogy, but I use a lot of analogies, but it's almost like, when the guy jumps off the cliff, it's like you standing at like a huge waterfall or something. Somebody jumps off and you look over the edge and you're like, oh, he didn't die. So you say, all right, I'm going to jump too. You know what I mean? But what your training did was it gave me that confidence to say, you know what? There is more to detailing than just what I've been doing. And I can grow a business and it can be a successful business. So,
well, thank you. And we have a saying, I say it a lot in trainings now, is that we make suggestions, you make decisions. And you're one of the individuals that made a lot of great decisions. And that's credit to you, not credit to me. Is that, you ran out, we gave you the foundation points to go out and build on, and dude, you just ran with it, so I appreciate the compliment, but it's really all about you. It's your decision making. We made those suggestions, and you made some amazing decisions.
let me, if you don't mind, if I touch on something real quick, because I get a lot of people that ask me, saying we're talking about events and your training, but I think and I hate seeing this if I look on a forum and somebody asks this question, or if somebody texts me this question, is, do you think it's worth it? And I want to tell everybody listening, like, you can't ask somebody else what an event or what a training will do for them, because it may do something different for you. So don't ever use that. I just had to get it off my chest, but I hate when people say, hey man, do you think such and such is worth it? Or do you think going to Mobile Tech is worth it? Or do you think going to SEMA is worth it? Make it worth it. Go there and know that you want to leave with something new to bring to your business.
That's powerful. So, that's powerful. Because that's you just surmised everything that I mean. That sentence right there is, it's what you make of it, man. Listen, as I tell the story, you could dump me in the middle of Palm Springs in June, butt ass naked, with not a dime to my name, and by that next June, I'm gonna have something going, and I'm gonna have it going big, because I know how to get it going. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a network. I'm gonna take and use my people skills. I'm gonna build trust up in people, and I'm gonna get it going. And being around, I'll tell you, one of the coolest things about being around guys like you, being around like-minded individuals. Now, we're not exactly alike, but we're a lot alike. Is the way we think, the way we build, our planning, what we envision, that we're constantly visioning things. We're not holding still. Being around those individuals is a pump up. Being around people that aren't like that is a vacuum. It will suck the life right out of you. So you got to be really careful, who you're around. So you got a lot.
Yep. Oh, I was going to say real quick, speaking of like individuals, I've been getting pestered by some guy that really wants to say hi during the podcast.
Oh, I know who it is already.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's no secret, right? But let me he sent over something special. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, we got to do this. I know exactly who this is already.
See what it is, because I know who it is. So.
It's part of the Florida squad, I'm guessing. That's
here we go.
Cool. Okay, here we go.
This guy, this is his favorite picture of you and him.
I don't even want to ask what the hell.
So that was a picture that William had posted, and then it was him and his wife. So I took his wife's head off and put my head on it and sent it to him. and he's just been running with it from day one.
I think one of the visions that I'll never forget is we're at Monterey, and you and Jamie, you stuck Jamie. Now, for those, I'll give you a vision. Mark, how tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". He's a big dude, right? Well, Jamie's not a big guy, right? Well, Mark takes and puts Jamie into a shopping cart, straps him in there, and then comes out of the store doing Mach 20 with this little tiny guy stuffed into a shopping cart. And we had it on video somewhere, but I'm going to tell you, when we're around each other, it's nonstop laughs. And Mark brings a level of laughter to wherever he goes, and we never have a dull moment. So, oh my God, that thing. And so with all this going on in your life, how do you bring balance to it? I mean, you've got a family, you've got, obviously hobbies and a business and a career and all these things. What the heck?
I just try to make time, my time, I've grown into having to be like you, schedule everything, but I do make sure I try to schedule time and stick to that schedule. So
what's next for you? You have plans for another venture or anything you talk about, or are you just kind of working on what you got right now? What's going on next?
No, I got some ideas in my head, but not really, just grow this second location. Luckily, so when we open up the second location, it's close to our other location. So they're probably 5 miles apart. The reason why we opened it up was because we were booking out too far. And, we live in a time now, and you could attest this really, where everybody wants to brag about being booked out. Yeah. But customers don't want to wait. No. You know what I mean? And when you're dealing with protecting somebody's new investment, 6 to 8 weeks, they're not going to.
No.
So we opened up the other shop to kind of take the overflow of our original shop. And then, so we plan on, hey, we'll take the overflow, it'll grow slow, and, we'll keep moving. Well, the new shop is probably performing better than the old shop. So we're kind of looking at maybe opening up a third location or just building a super large location. Yeah.
That's a big. One piece of advice. If you had one piece of advice, good piece of advice, maybe somebody's given you, what would you tell people? What would you leave them with right now?
I'm gonna give you 2 pieces of advice. Number one, like you talk about, go to the industry, meet people, show your face. Learn something. Every time you go to an event. My goal was to take one thing back to my business. Now, if I took 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, that was good. But I wanted to take at least one thing. And then the other thing I would say is consistency. Stay consistent on everything you do with your business. The same thing you do to get a customer, keep doing that. And you'll see the results.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So how do people connect with you social media-wise and all that good stuff?
Yeah, we got our website, firehouseutospajacks.com. Instagram is at Firehouse Auto Spa. And then at Firehouse Auto Spa Details, Firehouse Detail Supply. That's our other handle. And then Facebook's at Firehouse Auto Spa.
That's awesome. Well, hey, man, it's always great catching up with you. I'm really proud of you. I'll tell you that enough. But you've done a great job. You're an outstanding human. Somebody that I'm really proud to call friend, and always have fun with you. So we want to do a reach out. What's that, Chris?
I was going to say, before we jump off, I have a little video, I think, of your new shop. Can I see if it'll play real quick?
Yeah, let's see it. I've seen this, but
yeah, I thought it was.
This was. I think this is right before we opened. Kind of did a quick video.
Man, look at that.
So the goal behind it was just to make it, like you said, create an experience for our customers, but make them feel at home. Make them not just feel like, oh, we're waiting on our vehicle and we can't wait to get out of here. We get so many people that come here now, get their vehicle done, and they're like, I know my vehicle's been done, but I'm gonna just hang out. That's my son up there.
Oh,
Man, that place is sharp looking.
God, man.
But yeah, just give it a home feeling, you know.
You did that, dude. That is gorgeous.
Hey,
For those that are
smart
listening,
tools.
for those that are listening to the podcast versus watching the podcast on YouTube, go to Mark's social media. Oh, look at that. Go over to Mark's social media and check out this video. You want to see a shop done right. This thing is simply amazing. It's unbelievable to watch. It's unbelievable to see. So, hey, a little tidbit. We are going to take in, with Mobile Tech this year, we're going to make a Florida event, not just we're not going to just come down to Mobile Tech. And so, oh, look at that. We want to take and make a trip and come up and see you. We want to hang out with the Florida crew. And we want to have, and like we do, Mafia, weekend here in Big Bear, and how we have Jersey weekend. We want to do a Florida weekend while we're down at Mobile Tech. So that's in the planning. So we'll get a hold of you, and we'll figure out whether we have that at your location or we have that at Justin's. Doesn't matter to me, or we have two. I don't care.
Yeah,
we're going to come down and hang out with you, dude, and see you and spend some time and hang out with our Florida family. So
cool.
With that, hey, special thanks to Chris. Thanks for always putting this on. I know you worked really hard for this. I want to thank Diane. I can't wait to see my wife tomorrow. We've been away from each other for 3 weeks today. So,
wow.
Yeah, but, it's our little granddaughter, well worth it to help her out and help Delaney and her husband Malachi out. I want to thank the Mafia for always backing us up. Thank all of you for listening. Make sure to subscribe, like, and make a comment down below. With that, thanks, Team Double Black, for all your support. And Mark, hey, it's wonderful to have an interview with you, dude. Proud of you, brother.
Anytime, man. You want to have me back on, or anybody have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm an open book, so whatever you need, just let me know.
Real proud of you, man. So you guys behave, and hey, everybody, go out and be kind to each other, and think before you write things on social media, because some of you people need to freaking get a life. We'll see y'all. Take care. Happy detailing all. We'll see you next time. Adios.